Weeknights, KWWL News.
Today on Dr. Phil, Amy says no running, you say chase daddy.
It's moms.
When I say no, they go to him.
Versus dads.
If it's her way or the highway.
Because that's what I said.
Well,
Would you like a shovel?
And are your kids calling the shots?
Punched her grandma in the face. Kicked the doctor in the stomach. Hits, bites, throws, slaps. You have a 2-year-old kicking your butts. I'm doing this for your safety. Coming up. Let's do it.
I want you to get excited about your life. What are you thinking?
If you're going to talk to me, you're going to have to be honest.
We can do this.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Now, you guys know that this year we're putting the focus on families in our new series, Family First. From stay-at-home dads to critical moms, today I'm answering your burning questions about parenting. I believe in parents. I believe we can put family back in America, and we're going to have fun doing it this year, I guarantee. Matt says that he and his wife constantly disagree on discipline for their 2 little girls. Well, join the world. Matt says when he gets home, he just wants to be the fun dad. But Amy says he breaks her rules and makes her look like the bad guy. Take a look.
I'm a rough house. Let's tear around the house and chase dad or play hide and seek or, do something like that where she's like, let's sit down and color. Let's sit down and read a book.
Good job, Maddie. The girls and I do have a routine during the day that we follow, and when he's home, the routine is out the window.
I'm gonna get you, beat you.
Daddy! Daddy's home.
It's definitely party time when dad's home because I get to see him less than she does. And I want to make it fun for the girls when I am home.
By letting them stand and jump on the furniture, what's that teaching them? They shouldn't be allowed to use our furniture as a jungle gym. No, no.
Roughhousing is just something that I think dads like to do.
No. Done. No. Why do I always have to be the bad guy?
Well, mommy's home. Fun's over.
It kind of makes me feel bad because they see him as the fun parent and not me. You gave him brownies for supper?
I do indulge them more with sweets and snacks and things like that when Amy's not around because then I don't have to hear about it.
I think the inconsistencies that Matt and I have with each other's decisions really do impact the girls. We've seen the youngest one has many tantrums. The older one has had some issues with lying or fibbing.
Being in the Navy, I want to make a big impression on my kids. If I ever do have to go away, when I come back, they know who I am, and they remember me.
You have to kiss me. Give me Eskimo kisses.
I think that if Matt and I don't figure out how to compromise a little bit more when the girls are older, we're not going to be able to agree on what their curfew should be, what they can and cannot wear out of our house. It's just bound to get worse.
Dr. Phil, how can I get my wife to lighten up and just let the girls have fun with old dad?
Okay. The exit's right over there. First off, do you believe that there is an impact when you say, even jokingly, oh, fun's over, mom's home, or some of the other things that you kind of go through that you allow them to disobey her rules when she's not home, right? Amy says no running, you say chase daddy.
Right.
Amy says no sugar, you said have a cookie.
Right.
Right? She says car seats, you say, oh, come up here and sit with Dad.
Say, oh.
What do you drive?
Well, it's the Pimp Daddy Mobile. It's the 1993 Ford Taurus. It's purple.
It's purple?
Right.
Okay, 93 purple Ford Taurus. It's on the base. When you see him, check to see if the kids are in the back, okay? All All right, just wanted that one I agree with you on.
Okay,
There is no airbag. She's always got her seatbelt on. Oh, is that bad? Is that better?
Would you like a shovel? You couldn't dig yourself in a hole any faster if you had a backhoe. All right. Do you think there is an impact on the kids of you excluding Matt from the rule setting, fighting in front of them whenever the rules are violated, and getting onto him like he's one of them while they're there?
Yes.
And what would that impact be?
I think it confuses them. I mean, if they see a discrepancy between us, they can just deepen that wedge. They know who to go to. If they want something and I say no, they know to go to him.
All right, so you both agree that you have established a divide and conquer mentality, that you're both creating confusion with the kids, and it's creating conflict between the two of y'all.
Well, one thing, we never fight in front of the kids. I mean, I can count on one hand how many times we've actually, you know, butted heads, like, seriously.
Yeah, they're not drop down. They're not drag out fights or anything like that, but they're confrontations.
I didn't figure it was kung fu, but there are disagreements here. All right, look, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to give my opinion of how this ought to go. We'll be right back. This is a perfect example of what happens in most.
I think there should be rules that the girls can follow with Dad, and maybe not with Mom, and vice versa.
I think that if I were to just say, Matt, you go ahead and you make a rule, there wouldn't be a rule made.
Hey, I'm gonna come get you.
You've got to let them get out there and burn off that energy, or they're going to be up all night. And I want the girls to have fun, whether school-age years, because I had a great time. But Amy's the type of person who has to have everything planned. Schedules, times, dates, where you got to be, when you got to be there.
All right, today I'm answering your parenting questions using my new book, Family First. We're offering moms and dads the tools to create what I call a phenomenal family. Now, Matt says he often disagrees with his wife, Amy, about house rules for their two daughters. Now, Matt is in the Navy and may be sent away at any time, so he wants to be sure that he's remembered as the fun guy, the fun dad, not the heavy, the disciplinarian. Amy says she's sick and tired of him disobeying her rules. Did I read that right?
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. But that's kind of what it is, right? You run the house. You say this, I'm running this house, I'm here all day, you're gone. Don't come in at the end of the day and upset everything that we've got going.
Right.
Look, two wrongs don't make a right here. I don't know, except for the car seat thing. You need to put them in the car seat because, boy, they're missiles. You hit even 5 miles an hour, rear end somebody, those little heads, they're missiles. So you've got to put them in the car seat. So that one, no question, that comes down to safety. Jumping on the bed, playing, I don't know what's right. I don't care. That's between you guys. I suspect that the healthiest, most vibrant level of adjustment probably lies somewhere in between. I mean, it does. That's not what's important. What's important is that you guys sit down and come up with a plan that both of you can be excited about. And it has to be negotiated between you because parenting is a partnership. I mean, you realize that.
Yes.
And you've got to have what we call emotional integrity. If you agree, you've got to have the integrity of saying, I'm not going to endear myself to the children by letting them do something special, and then they love me and not him or her. You've got to come up with a plan you can both be excited about. I mean, does that make sense?
It sure does. But the problem one of the reasons that I wanted to be on the show is because the problem that I have is Amy doesn't want to accept, she doesn't want to listen to what I have to say. She's home all day, so it's her way or the highway. And when I say something, well, that's kind of stupid. You know, why don't you just let him do this every once in a while? Because that's what I said, you know, and, well, and I can't come back with, you know, she's been at home.
Let's see.
Well, she's been at home all day.
Listen, did you hear what he just said?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm interrupting you here, and this is like the car seat. I'm doing this for your safety. Right? You hear what he just said? Really, it's like you have 3 children, is your way you look at it. And you
Sometimes, yeah.
said, I want to come because I know Dr. Phil will agree with me.
No.
Yes,
Not
you did.
You're going to read the transcript back to me, aren't you?
I will if I need to. All right, but
Well,
here's the
I
point.
wanted to see the conflict that it causes between the kids when we're not trying to back each other up.
You said you knew I would agree with you. You
I
aren't.
knew on the car seat issue.
You aren't wrong, because I don't disagree with you, and I don't disagree with you. Jumping on the bed with the kids, personally, I think it's great. I mean, personally, but whether that's right for your house, and it depends on the time. If it's when you're trying to get them to calm down for bed,
Yes.
bad time. I mean, what you want to do is scale down. But what you want is a rhythm to your home. I talk about that in Family First, where everybody's flowing in this unified rhythm. I don't know whether one of you or the other is right. What I know is he's not your child, and the fact that he's gone does not make him a bad dad. He has a job.
Oh, I don't think that makes him a bad dad. I think he's a great dad.
Of course, but you can't then say, well, you weren't here today, so I made the rules while you were gone, so line up, buddy. Yeah, that won't work. That won't work. You guys need to agree on something, and then you need to do it. And there are some things that you just have to agree to disagree on. He is going to roughhouse and tumble with those children more than you will ever do.
Oh, yeah.
She is going to teach these young girls to become ladies and to, be feminine, and that's great. That's why it's great that there's a mom and a dad here. It isn't important which one of you adopts certain, you adopt, jump on the bed or don't. Do they get a cookie or don't they? Do they watch 30 minutes of TV or an hour of TV? These are things that people negotiate and come up with.
But how do you agree to disagree and not have an attitude about it later?
First off, you really do have an attitude that you're running the house and he needs to get in line. Okay, you've admitted that.
Yeah.
Okay, and to a degree, that's true. She is there all day. She is having to set this up and navigate all that. And so to the extent possible, you need to be supportive of that. All right, on the other hand, you need to recognize that it's not your way or the highway. And you need to come up with some compromises. The way I've always tried to think about this is, if it's a 10 on your priority scale and a 3 on yours on a certain item, then let her have that one. If it's a 10 on his and a 6 on yours, let him have that one. Try to come up with some middle ground. There are a couple of goals you need to have. And one is that you socialize your children, and the other is that they find who they really are. I mean, those are kind of your North Stars in raising kids. How you get there and where those boundaries are here or here really is not that important. He has a fun-loving relationship with the girls. That's who he is. He likes that. Be willing to give a little on that. And don't throw her under the bus by saying, well, Mommy's not going to let us do that. Y'all need to come together. You can lighten up a little bit, right?
Oh, sure.
I mean, because you're hearing what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That really, you want to pick your battles here. And whether they jump on the bed or run through the house may not be the battle to pick. Maybe you want to give a little on that and then pick the battle on how much TV versus book reading they're doing.
So,
I mean, you've got to
you
pick
give
your
me permission
battles.
to pick those.
Everything can't, I don't want to mess with you at all. But everything can't be the battle. I mean,
Right.
you've got to be, this is a partnership. If you wanted to be a single mom, then you'd have a completely different world. You need to let his personality come into this a little bit. I mean, cut the boy some slack. All right, next, a stay-at-home dad who's worried his sons might see him of less of a man because he's a stay-at-home dad. I'll tell you what I think when we come back. Well, it's about picking your battle. It's very